Hello, my name is Edward Calvespert. I'm the offering manager for IBM's Bluemix Data Connect. Data Connect, formerly known as DataWorks or DataWorks Forge, is IBM's self-service data preparation and integration service available via Bluemix. Today we're going to walk through a simple hands-on lab that'll show you how to ingest data from Bluemix Object Store through the Data Connect service and into DB. The first thing that we need to do is provision our services within Bluemix. So we'll go to the catalog and search for Object Store and provision our source, which is Bluemix Object Storage. We'll go ahead and accept the defaults and we will select the free plan. Go ahead and create that service. We're creating the object storage service in order to drag and drop our files into Bluemix and then load them into DB. Alright, and we've got our object store created. Now that we're here, we'll go ahead and create a container. And we'll go ahead and drag and drop our files that we've downloaded. Great. And we'll also capture the service credentials, which we're going to need in order to create the connection from the Data Connect service. There we go. All right, back to the catalog to create our DB instance. We'll search for Dash. Here we go. Okay, and we've got our various plans here. Go ahead and pick our entry-level plan and create. Great. We've got our DB instance created. Same thing we did with Object Store. Let's go ahead and grab our service credentials that we will need to create the connection. And we'll take our service credentials and put them in our notepad. And let's go back to our dashboard. And here we've got our three services created. Object Store is our source, DB is our target, and DataWorks to copy the data from one to the other. So let's go ahead and go into our DataWorks service. So the first thing we need to do is create our connections. And we know that our source is IBM Bluemix Object Store. Let's go ahead and pull up our credentials. And we need the URL, project ID, region, user ID, and password. Let's pick up the URL. Project ID. Region. User ID. password. Let's give it a name. And create the connection. All right. Let's do the same thing for our target, which is IBM-DB. In this case, we need host, database, username, and password. Here's our host. Here's our database. Username. And password. Give it a name. Create our connection. All right, so we've got our object store source and our -db target, and now we're ready to work with the data. So we go to refine and copy. Let's start with our source, object store. We've got the container that we created, and we've got our two files. I'm going to go ahead and select both of them. And we could simply just copy them to the target or refine them. Just going to give you a quick preview of what you can do in refine, and in a subsequent video we will go into more details here. So in refine we get a sample of the data. We've got our two files, product and sales. We can see details about the quality of each one of the columns, or we can see details of the data set entirely. And in a subsequent video I will show all the various operations we can perform on these data sets. But for now, let's go ahead and click Next. And basically use our target connection to -db into our top-level schema and create the two tables, one table for each one of the files. Go ahead and run that right now. I could save it for later, or I could schedule it. Let's go into our activity dashboard. And here's the details of our activity. We've got our input, we've got our output. The activity is currently running. We can schedule the activity if we want to run it on a daily or hourly basis. And here we can see that the activity is completed. We went into -db as a target. Let's go ahead and go back to Bluemix and to our dashboard, into our -db database to go ahead and verify that. So let's open our -db service. Let's go to our tables. And in our schema, we've got the two files that we brought in, and here's our data. So we successfully moved those two files from Object Store through the Data Connect service and into -db. And that concludes the lab.